What is going on, everyone? Hope you're having a real blast Friday. As I mentioned, the draft season is already underway for the Houston Texans. The Senior Bowl has been going since Monday, and our friend John Crumpler has been there the entire time, and he just dropped a full round Houston Texan mock draft Senior Bowl exclusive. So these are the players that stood out to John and he wants the Houston Texans to take a look at, man. I am excited because there is a lot of pressure for this upcoming draft class. We are no longer looking for the guys to start the franchise. We already have that in CJ Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. These next upcoming draft classes are going to be pieces that we think can get us to compete for a Lombardi trophy. It feels great to be a winning football team again with expectations. Welcome everyone to the 713 Houston Sportcast. I am your host, Ruben Calavillo. I drop daily Houston Texans content, so make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for the latest news, rumors, and updates. And guys, once again, I just hit 10K subscribers. Thank you so much. Would not be where I am today if it's not for all of you guys liking, watching, commenting, subscribing, hey, even hating. Thank you so much. It means that absolutely. Once again, shout out to John Crumpler, lead analyst for the Texans Wire. This article was absolutely fire. Texans 4-round mock draft Senior Bowl exclusive. Now, with the first pick at the 23rd selection, John Crumpler has the Houston Texans selecting Kenyan Mitchell, cornerback from Toledo. This is what he has to say. Kenyan Mitchell was the star of the show in mobile. The first-team All-American defended 45 passes in his college career at Toledo, and his film showed as dominant a corner you'll find in college. The biggest question was how Mitchell would hold up against much better competition at the Senior Bowl, outside of a scheme that let him dominate with the Rockets. The 6-foot, 195-pound cornerback left no questions. He was the best player on the field. It's impossible not to notice his competitive attitude as well. He frequently challenged Wilson, who was considered the best Senior Bowl wideout to compete. He firmly cemented his status as a first-round draft pick, and it's possible that Mitchell won't even be available at number 23 after his stellar showing in mobile. For this exercise, it's fun to assume he could be, though. Notably, Mitchell had a confirmed meeting with Houston. DeMeco Ryans will have an elite cornerback on the roster to pair with budding star Derek Stingley and one of the best outside cornerback duos in the entire NFL. Mitchell would allow for fascinating coverage variations on both sides of the field, and there would truly be no weak side for opposing quarterbacks to attack. Now, I've said it the past couple of weeks, cornerback is a huge need for the Houston Texans. Y'all know I am in love with Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, but this right here, Mitchell sounds like a stud guy, and for someone who could potentially not be there at 23, that's something to look at. Wouldn't mind. Now at round 2, pick 59, John Crumpler has the Houston Texans selecting Roman Wilson, wide receiver from Michigan. It's only fair that after a week of fierce competition in mobile, Mitchell sees his rival become his teammate in April. Roman Wilson had a dominant Senior Bowl week. The 5'10", 186-pound receiver was not the focal point of Michigan's run-heavy offense, but gathered 48 catches for 789 yards and 12 touchdowns nonetheless. Many were curious how he would perform in comparison to receivers with more on their film in 2023. Wilson performed as the most impressive of any receiver at practice and, most importantly, the most consistent. He showed off great acceleration, strong route running, and a consistency catching the football that many of his peers struggled with. He was a day 2 player entering mobile, and working his way into round 2 is a worthy upgrade for the Michigan wide receiver. Catching footballs from his former rival and Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud will be an excellent storyline while joining former Michigan wide receiver Nico Collins. Wilson fits in naturally as a wide receiver next to Collins and Dell, and would give Houston a third young explosive option at receiver, and notably, another cheap one before Collins' pending extension. His long speed and route running could be trusted on most concepts to get open, and his reliable hands will be a huge asset compared to what the Texans often deployed at their third spot in 2023. Look, wide receiver is also something that the Houston Texans need to upgrade, and Roman Wilson is exciting. It is interesting because this is not the first time that we heard he's been doing good. If you go on YouTube, type up our guy Broshmo, Roman Wilson was one of the players he talked about that raised his draft stock this Senior Bowl. The Houston Texans need a third wide receiver, a slot guy, and Roman Wilson could exactly fit that need. And I could just imagine what him and CJ Stroud could do, because with CJ Stroud, you just saw him elevate so much talent, all the talent around him. I have no doubt Roman Wilson could come into this team in year one and make an impact. In the third round, pick 85, John Crumpler has the Houston Texans selecting linebacker Payton Wilson from North Carolina State. We've been hearing about Payton Wilson all week. DeMeco Ryan loves his linebackers, and the Texans pounce on another one here. The unanimous 2023 All-American and ACC Defensive Player of the Year gathered 138 total tackles with the Wolfpack last season. Payton Wilson is a strong athlete at 6'4", 234 pounds, and his energy was noticeable whether on the practice field or in interviews this entire week. In a lackluster week overall from the linebackers, Wilson brought exactly what was expected from his illustrious profile. Wilson would add a dynamic player at middle linebacker next to Christian Harris, who would hopefully serve as a force multiple similarly to Kenyan Mitchell with Derek Stingley. He'll be 24 at the start of his rookie season and brings an enormous amount of experience from the college level to help pilot the Texans defense in his first season. The linebacker also confirmed that he met with the Texans while in mobile. Houston has loved what they've seen from Harris at the weak side linebacker position, and adding Wilson to the mold as the future of the team at middle linebacker makes too much sense. The fact that he has met with the Houston Texans means that he is one of their targets. Now, DeMeco Ryans, does he finally get his project at linebacker? Remember the story of Fred Warner, a third-round draft pick. DeMeco Ryans got him and formed him into one of the best, if not the best, linebacker in the NFL. We just saw what happened with Christian Harris in year one with DeMeco. I absolutely love this linebacker. Would not mind another young starter, potentially star under head coach DeMeco Ryans at all. To wrap up this mock draft, at round 4, pick 124, the Houston Texans, according to John Crumpler, would be selecting tight end Theo Johnson from Penn State. The future of the tight end position is uncertain in Houston. Dalton Schultz is a pending free agent. Second-year player Tegan Quitoriano is an unknown at this point. Brevin Jordan had an excellent third year, but is going into the final year of his rookie deal, and it is unclear what he would look like in a bigger role if called upon. It is fair to say that Houston needs more juice at the tight end position, especially in the blocking department, and the Senior Bowl has been a great place to look at historically. Dallas Cowboys breakout star Jake Ferguson is the most recent example of the event producing quality players. Penn State's Theo Johnson would meet that exact mold. The 6'6", 257-pound tight end was a strong blocker for the Lions and caught 34 balls for 341 yards and 7 touchdowns this past season. At the Senior Bowl, he was the best tight end of the group by virtue of his consistent hands and ability to find separation in short areas. Johnson met with the Texans this week and would provide Bobby Slowick with an immediate contributor in the blocking department and someone who could potentially blossom into an every down tight end by year 2. Listen to Johnson discuss his ability to read coverages on the fly and help his quarterback in option routes. He's the exact kind of weapon this offense covets in the system and would be a great developmental play to kick off day 3 of the draft for Nick Caserio. Tight end, not one of the biggest needs for me, but you might have another starting tight end next year, whether that's Dalton Schultz or someone else in free agency. But Theo Johnson, the 4th round, I wouldn't mind it. Once again, you are trying to bring weapons for quarterback CJ Stroud. Again, you do need a blocking tight end, and it looks like Johnson fits the mold, guys. This was the full round Senior Bowl exclusive mock draft by our boy John Crumpler. Let me know how y'all think he did. And for more Houston Texans content, y'all know what to do. Follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day.